So, Mike, I just wanted to make sure that you're happy with her shot before we start.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit opposite a woman I don't know and say, no, I'm not happy with her.
I can leave.
No, it's fine, Callum, thanks.
So that's fine. Just go back onto you guys. That's fine.
Anna, this is going to be about 30 minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right. Everything is good. If I can get you all just to say that this podcast is the best.
This podcast is the best.
This podcast is the best.
Everybody at the same time.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
3, 2, 1.
This
This
podcast
podcast is the best.
Perfect. Great. I need to just take like behind the scenes photos or videos of them because it will look good.
Yeah, it will. If I had a better phone.
I can give you mine if you want.
Oh, yeah. I'll text Jen.
Yeah, go for it.
Get you back single.
Fine. Need to not.
High angle's not forgiving though, is it?
Okay, broadcast recording.
What, the light's shining off my bald spot? Yeah, thanks.
ASM recording. Program view. And we are good to go. Let me clap it in. And start 5 seconds after I've left the room. And
Welcome to another edition, a new edition of Breakfast the Debrief. I'm very, very pleased to say today we have with us Anna Yardley. Anna, thank you for coming. Thank you for your time.
That's okay, no problem at all.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but you and I went to the same university.
Did we?
Hull University?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the University of Kingston upon Hull.
That's
And,
right.
and you put the H in there. It's meant to be all.
All.
You told me for years it was all.
It's Hull. The difference is I was there 1978 to 1981, and I'm now in my 7th decade. You were there 1997 to 2000,
That's correct.
and unless you took a year's break after A-levels,
Nope.
I'm guessing your age to be mid-40s, early to mid-40s?
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah. How old are you, Anna?
45.
45. Okay. And single?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we should announce a big hello to my co-interviewer, who's sitting there very quietly, very well, Andy Crook,
Hello.
Bath Rugby Club, Bath Rugby Club follower and University of Nottingham graduate. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank
Because
for having
you
me.
and Anna know each other, could you give us a little précis of the two of you and your relationship?
I guess I lived with Anna on and off for about a year, where she was living with my girlfriend.
I was about to say, was it a sexual relationship? Was it a personal, private relationship? And then you kind of spoiled that bit.
It was a fairly liquid relationship.
Yeah, word on the street, Anna, is you do like a glass of wine,
I do like a glass of wine or
And you-
two,
yeah, or three.
potentially.
And you do like a glass or two or three of fizz.
I do. This is all correct.
And this is the common thread between the two of you?
Well, that and...
Yeah.
yeah.
Because,
That and Jen's
Jen's, yeah.
yeah, Jen is Andy's wife.
and my sister.
And his
Aha.
sister.
Ah, yeah, Andy has a sister called Jen and a wife called Jen.
She does.
I just got mixed up. Don't make that mistake. I certainly won't again. So the two of you, you have a love of rugby.
We do.
I've never met a woman, despite the fact I am nearly halfway through my 7th decade, that plays rugby. And you, I'm told, have played to a decent standard, prop forward for 20 years.
25 years, yeah.
25
In total.
years.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's why I don't play anymore. My back's gone.
I was going to say, because, you know, I can sit here and joke about if I ask impertinent questions, I'm going to get like tackle slammed into the side of the studio.
I think you're safe.
I think I'm fairly safe. Anyway, you're good friends with Andy.
Yeah.
You're friends with his daughter. You're friends with his wife.
Yeah,
You played rugby with his wife,
that's correct.
and you've something of an auntie special relationship with his daughter.
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah.
Okay, would you care to expand?
Yeah, I've known Florence since she was born, so yeah, I'm actually babysitting for her on Friday night.
Okay,
Are you?
Yeah.
all right.
Oh yes, yes.
What's your degree in, Anna?
Social sciences, so psychology and sociology.
And was that the plan growing up?
The plan was to be a probation officer with young offenders,
Oh, okay.
and then I lived in Hull and decided I didn't know what to do anymore. There's nothing wrong with Hull. I loved Hull.
Well, the difference between our experiences in Hull is that I grew up there. I grew up there from when I was born in 1960 to 1972 when we moved down south. Grass became grass and Bus became Bus and Hull became Hull. And went back there because my mother's side of the family all still lived up there. There'd been an illness on my grandmother's side, so I quickly changed plans to the university I was going to go to all those years ago. But it's a long time ago. Now, I lived in Cranbrook Avenue for 3 years, number 1 Cranbrook Avenue, from year 1, year 2 through year 3. Where did you live?
In the first year, I lived on Beverley Road.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the second year, Suffolk Street.
Okay,
And
so
then-
a mile from the campus?
Yeah. And then in my third year on Newland Ave.
Newland Avenue, yes,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So, but that was just up and coming then. So when we moved in, that was the start of all the coffee shops and the bars on there.
And this was a happy time of your life?
I loved it. Yeah, had the best time.
Because I'm trying to remember Hull, a big rugby league town.
Yeah.
Now, rugby union's your game.
Yes, that's right. But we used to go and watch Hull FC, which is the rugby league team.
Yeah, Hull Kingston Rovers, which is the east part of town, and Hull FC, which is the west part.
That's
Ah,
right,
okay, yeah, because the university's more towards the west side of town. So, did you play rugby at university? That's where the love came, or the love came later?
Yeah, no, at university. Yeah, that's I lost a bet, and then ended up playing rugby.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were a big football family growing up, so rugby was never really something that I came across before. But
Because
it
you
was,
used to go to watch Wednesday with your dad, didn't you?
that's right. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was going to say you were brought up in Sheffield.
just outside Sheffield. Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
And there's only 2 clubs in Sheffield, aren't
There's
there?
only one.
No, there's 2.
No, there's only one decent one.
No, there's only one Anna supports. There are 2. the Steel City Derby.
Yeah, which is,
It's quite something, that game, isn't it? I mean, it sold at Wembley, didn't it, for a
Yeah.
playoff game?
yeah, playoff of the '93 FA Cup final. Yeah, so yeah, no, it's it will be the first year in a number of years. We'll be having it again this year. So
Okay. And do you get to see them play
yeah.
very often?
Yeah, well, I haven't been up this season yet, but I'm going on an away trip in a couple of weeks to Portsmouth with one of our mutual friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
so yeah,
Very good.
fun.
Very good, because quite frankly, Sheffield Wednesday is a club waiting to be bought by the Arabs
Wow.
or an American trillionaire or something, for the simple reason that Peterborough 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0 in the last set of playoffs over a 2-legged game. The game went back to Sheffield. You're 4-0 down. It's not going to happen, right? It really isn't going to happen. And you packed out one of the biggest grounds,
Yeah,
and you were 4-0 down
yeah,
with effectively 90 minutes to go. Now, that's support. So if there is any doubt, that I don't doubt the bigger of the 2 clubs is Sheffield Wednesday, other than United, although United have had more time at the top divisions lately. But is this a kind of a homage to your father?
Well, my whole family support Wednesday. Well, my dad's side of the family, yeah. So
Okay.
we've always, I didn't really have a choice. It was never really.
A sibling? Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I had a brother. Yeah, he also
Okay.
used to support Wednesday. So yeah.
Yes, of course.
yeah.
Because we have to move on to something that I don't know how it's defined you. Andy might have a better idea than I have. That's the death of 2 very, very close members of your family, your mother and your brother.
And my dad.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I
No, it's okay.
I knew your mother and your brother
Yeah.
passed away. I didn't know about your father. I am so sorry. Was that, I understand your mother and brother was within a year of each
No,
other?
it's my dad and my brother that were with.
Oh, your dad and
Yeah.
your brother. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I need to sack my researcher,
It's all right.
who is sitting about a foot away from me.
There's been a lot of time and a lot of beer. It's
all right.
Roughly.
I mean, get wrong her favourite colour. Get wrong
No, it's all
her
right.
favourite glass of wine. Don't get that wrong.
It's all right.
That's all right. And Anna, how long ago did this happen?
Well, Mum died in 2012. Stephen died in 2018, and then Dad died 6 months later in 2019.
Okay. Still raw?
I'm all right. I'm doing okay. Yeah. You
That's
just have to crack on.
yeah. I mean, forgive me. That's not the answer,
Well,
because part of what this is about is getting to what people really think about. Now, in my case, it's always over breakfast. It's might be with you, it might not be with you. What's your favourite breakfast? Do you think all over it? If you could have them there with you for a reunification breakfast, let's call it, for want of a better expression, what would you say to them? Where would you take them? How would it go?
I don't know. I suppose I would want to know if they were proud of me now, and after everything that I've done, obviously since they've gone, and how I've coped with it, really.
And when it went with the three of them, were they accidents? Was it an illness? Was it?
A bit of both. So Mum was ill, Dad was ill, and Stephen took his own life.
Okay, Stephen took his own life. Okay, is that something you talk about much, or
No. Well, yes and no amongst close people. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
is anything you'd like to share?
Not really.
It's a private question. If you don't want to answer it, don't answer
It's
it.
fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Stephen.
Stephen. Okay. Now, if you were all sat around the table for breakfast, how would it be? Right, raucous northern.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well,
that we both
yeah.
grew up. Different.
Yeah. Yeah. There'd probably be a lot of talk
Different
about football. To be fair, yeah, probably a lot of talk about football and music, probably.
And they're all Wednesday fans.
Stephen, myself, and Dad. Yeah, Mum didn't really support football. She just went along with it because she, again, not really much of a choice in the house.
Okay. Now, Anna, you've always. I'm looking at. I'm not looking at your LinkedIn page, but just looking at a broad.
Yeah.
Your working experience. It's very, very solid.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very, Middle England, if you like. Is that fair?
Well, yeah, I suppose.
After you finished university at Hull,
Yeah.
what brought you down to London?
So I, like I said at the beginning, I didn't really. I finished thinking. I started thinking I was going to do probation, and then I finished not having a clue what I was going to do. So I got a job in media sales, and that was in London. So, yeah, that's how I ended up here.
And if the 45-year-old Anna of today
Yeah.
could speak to the 25-year-old Anna, who, having left university, has, begun a career, you were doing at the time, project managing, whatever it was, what would the Anna sat opposite me say to the Anna of 20 years ago?
Gosh. Probably don't go out so much in the week and knuckle down a bit more at work. But no, I don't think I haven't got any regrets. So I don't think I think I've done all right.
You think you're the same person you were 20 years ago?
No, because life changes you as you move on, whatever experiences you have.
Yeah, which is
Definitely.
why I'm so interested. You're obviously, a together person. So the together person of today might not have been the you of 20 years ago, as it probably wasn't.
No, probably not.
So what advice would you give if you could have that conversation?
Believe in yourself a bit more, probably.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's go, when you get to my generation, what does the 45-year-old Anna say to the 65-year-old Anna, that God willing you become?
Yeah.
What advice have you got for yourself 20 years from now?
Probably well done for still being alive in 20 years.
Stop getting caught in rounds of wine with Jen.
Yeah, or tequilas at the bar
Yeah.
with Andrew.
All right.
Is the passing of time, in light of what you've touched on, something that weighs heavy, or time almost speeds up now, in a way it didn't? A, when you were much younger, and B, when, you know, people, your direct family, were still with us.
I think time, as you get older anyway, seems to speed up, doesn't it? Each year gets quicker, and, you know, all of a sudden it's going to be Christmas before we know it. So it's, you know, I think as you get older, when you were little, a year seemed like an awfully long time. But I think as you get older, it does speed up.
And did you imagine, when you left Hull in 2000, when you came down to London shortly afterwards? Now, I've got a series of the jobs that you've done. You know, manager, business development manager, business manager, project manager, this sort of thing. Has that always fulfilled you because you've had strong interests like the rugby alongside it, and a good circle of friends and a well-rounded outlook on life? Or was that something, it was easy and it paid okay, so you did it, and you wish you pushed yourself more?
I don't know, really. I think I think my friendship circle has always been, especially in my 20s, probably more important to me than my job, which I probably shouldn't say. But equally, in all of my jobs that I've worked in, I've always had strong friendships as well. So I've always enjoyed going to work and what I've done and all the companies I've worked for. Yeah.
You, outside of that, with the rugby club, you actually managed the men's team, didn't you?
I did.
You managed the men's team.
Yeah, for 3 seasons, I think. Yeah.
So that's a big commitment as well, but also gives you, I guess, the chance to fulfill like parts of your life and different bits, and meet different people
Definitely.
and learn from those experiences as well as just work experiences.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think throughout, I think the rugby club has played a massive role in my last 20 odd years of living in and around London. In terms of not only just playing, but like you said, managing the men, but also been on the committee for 15 years at the club.
You see, let me interrupt here. This is an environment where people don't put up with idiots.
Wow.
There's no way. Okay, football was always my game. Cricket, you know, I've always loved rugby. Brought up in a rugby league town, but I never played it to the level you, Andy, have. But I take an interest in it. But what I do know, or at least I think I know, is that you're in charge of a men's rugby team, and they think you are not up to it, an idiot. It's not going to work, is it? But it worked. So that kind of tells its own story.
Yeah. I enjoyed doing it. It just took up an awful lot of time, which I think I played on Sunday with the men on a Saturday. It wasn't sustainable for the longer than I did it for, but yeah, it was great fun.
Well, it kind of paints pictures of a social life of like, you know, eight pints in one, following a win-loss, or well, there's not so many draws in rugby, are there? But
occasionally, but no, not really.
But it's always been. I mean, the social side of rugby's always been. It's always been the glue, the real glue, and that's something. That's something you've enjoyed.
Oh, massively. And when I first moved to London, I knew nobody. And within I always say this, within the first few weeks of joining the rugby club, I had 15 new best friends.
Okay.
So.
Now, Anna, if I could just move this on, because it's a delicate subject. If you don't want to answer, please don't. But you've never married.
No.
You don't have children.
No.
But you've wanted children.
Yeah, but I did it a while ago, but yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. Now, hey, us guys, right? I'm in my mid-60s just about, and, you know, hey, technically I can still whack out a healthy 8-pounder, you know, with the right partner. It's not the same for women.
No.
You know, we as men, you know, the biological clock, trust me, the biological clock for a man is like, how long have I got? You know, from feeling I need to go to the toilet to getting to the toilet. I mean, that's about the only clock you really, or how long will it take me to get served at the bar? Whereas this is kind of proper gravy, isn't it? the question I'm asking is that unless something very unlikely happens, that's not going to be an ambition
No, and like
fulfilled. And how do you feel about it if that's not an unfair
now.
question?
I think over times changed, and as we just talked about time, and 5 years ago I was a different, had a different outlook, I suppose. But now I've accepted it. I'm all right. I've got plenty of amazing children in my life.
You have
love to bits. So.
Yeah, I've written down the exact quotes about you: gregarious, generous, and an auntie to dozens.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've got a lot. I mean, we were at a party last night, and one of my goddaughters was there, and it was lovely. So yeah, I'm very lucky.
Okay, you never thought of adopting, or?
Yes, but not something I've really explored too much into. I think I'm happy with where I am now.
Okay. I mean, relationship-wise, do you look back and think, bugger, that's the one that got away, or that those are the two or three that
got away?
Those are the two or three that got away for reasons that become less clear over the passing of time.
Yeah, no, I think, things happen for a reason, don't they? And like I say, I'm good with where I am now.
I mean, can you imagine sitting down over breakfast, perhaps, with, I don't know, the three likeliest Mr. Annas from 2000 and onwards?
I don't think that's a good idea.
How do you think that would go?
I don't think it's a good idea.
Or maybe 3 one-on-ones?
No, I think we're all right. I think the past is the past. There's no point in digging up.
Okay. Well, we've reached this point of your life, Anna, and without sounding morbid, are you frightened of dying?
Not really. I don't. It's not something I really think about a lot.
And in fairness, women do live a lot longer than men, and I have no doubt that accidents or dreadful unforeseen illness or whatever, that you're probably at the absolute midpoint of your life.
Possibly,
maybe not even the midpoint, but as close as for the benefits of this conversation. So no fear of death.
Like I say, it's not really something I think about.
Yeah, or mortality. You've had to think about it too much.
Yeah.
For the others, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Concentrate on the here and now.
Okay. So, what ambitions do you have left professionally?
Oh gosh. I'd like to get promoted at some point in the next year.
Yeah, well.
I'm quite happy at the company where I am now. I think it's a good company, it's a good place to work.
And you've been there
3 years.
3 years, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that seems to be about, from what I can gather, about the average amount of time you've spent.
Well, I think I was at the last place for 7 years.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
No,
okay.
it's fine, it's just different roles within the organisation. No, I tend to do 6 years. Really.
I think I've divided the number of the number of positions you've had by the number of years. Yeah, and
it tends to be 6 years, but because of COVID, I think I ended up doing 7 at the last one.
Well, COVID. I mean, care to reflect?
It was what it was, wasn't it? It was a moment.
Yeah.
In
What
time.
was it?
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, conspiracy theories apart, funnily enough, all of which seem to be coming true.
I do work in the pharmaceutical industry, so I think it did exist.
Well, I mean, it's funnily all of a sudden, somebody's got COVID, they're not playing, and then they just turn up the next day or something, and yet you still get people in masks, you still get people that are convinced the world is going to end, or that it wasn't the Wuhan laboratory. For goodness sake, did you spend those 2 and a half years working from home?
Yes.
And do you work from home now, or enough you go back to work properly?
No. Well, 2 days in the office, 3 days at home.
Oh.
Quite like that mix. It's good.
Oh, right. Okay. I mean, some would say, but then again, it's a private company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, if it's a private company, that's fine. If it's on the taxpayer, that's kind of where the country's fracturing. But I'm not going to get any more of you about COVID. But let's bring
COVID
Andy.
just seemed to be a massive party. Every time I cycled back through Clapham, it was like a festival. on that Wandsworth Common.
It wasn't in Epsom.
Before I bring Andy in, tell me about Florence, Andy's daughter. Apparently, she absolutely. I don't think I'm giving away too much, too much here. But she absolutely adores you.
I think we have got a very special relationship. Like I say, I've known her since she was, born. Yeah. Spent a lot of time with her.
And how
She's
old is she
lovely.
now?
11.
11.
I
mean-
second guess myself then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, 11, yeah.
I mean, 11 to a child. That's it's all a life, obviously.
Yeah.
But
11 going on 18.
Yeah.
yes, I've heard the stories. I only ever met Florence once, but I mean, she seems bright as a button.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
The world is her. Well, the world is her lobster, as Arthur Daly.
A Taylor Swift lobster.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a Swiftie.
She's into all of them. Like I'd say the big three: Miley Cyrus, Pink, and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Right.
Currently, that's
I
all
quite
that gets
like all
played.
three of them
Yeah.
as well.
So not what she should be listening to, which is the Beatles, Genesis, and Pink Floyd.
Well, I am trying to educate her in the ways of the world. We've sat down and we found that you can get all Hello Hello.
Educate her
on,
better.
YouTube.
Yes.
Hello,
So,
hello.
so we're working our way through all the back catalogue of Hello Hello. She can't quite work out still why the French people who are speaking English and the English people who are speaking English and the Germans speaking German English can't understand each other. She hasn't quite got that bit.
Okay.
But she does like the slapstick humour.
Okay. Anna, any questions we haven't asked that we should be asking, or
I don't think so. I think you've been quite thorough.
it's a difficult thing when you ask somebody very, very personal stuff, but it's the personal stuff that's actually the essence of the person, if that makes sense. Well, that's what I think anyway. And I think with, boys, men, boys, we grow up to men, we tend to kind of have lots of best friends, or it's with girls, it tends to be, in my experience anyway, it tends to be they have a best friend. They have a best friend they had at school, a best friend at college. Whereas you seem to kind of cross that and have lots and lots and lots of friends, the way a typical guy would. But the close relationships as well.
Yeah. No, definitely. I've got lots of-
Is that fair comment?
Yeah, I've got lots of friends. I'm still really good friends with all my friends that I went to school with. Obviously, I've got lots of friends with rugby. Yeah. No, I spend a lot of time working on my friendships with my friends.
Okay. Well, unless you've any more.
I've got a very important question.
Go on.
If hungover breakfast,
Yeah.
someone gives you a roll with bacon in, what do you call the roll?
Well, if I was at home, my mum would have called it a cob. I think I called it a bacon roll. Not a muffin. That's more Manchester.
You've been
Yeah.
Londonised.
Yeah. It's bacon sarnie.
Well, Sheffield and Manchester, they're different counties,
They are.
different cultures, but they're very, very geographically close.
They are.
It's not a long journey, is it?
No.
So,
Well, it is from here.
yes, it is from here, but that's not the point I'm making, is it? I mean, Lancashire, Yorkshire,
Yeah.
non-Yorkshire people with a non-Yorkshire upbringing, stay out of this conversation, which means you. The red rose, the white rose, the Lancashire, the Yorkshire thing. Okay, the M62 joins them up, but there's like a different sort of mist on the lanky side, isn't there?
The wrong side of the Pennines.
So therefore, the relationships that develop, if they last, I don't know, beyond the initial phase, they tend to be the strongest. If you pick a partner, a friend, or whatever, from the other side, geographically they're close. But then again, Liverpool and Manchester are close.
Yeah.
Newcastle and Sunderland
Yeah.
are close. Bristol and Cardiff aren't that far apart geographically, but they are really.
What's your point, Shag?
Yeah, the point is, brought up the way you were brought up. I've only got one final question, which I'm going to work this into because I know what my answer would be as a Yorkshireman. Now, as a Yorkshire lass, you've got one breakfast. You can bring back somebody that's no longer with us. You can have a hero. You can have a crush. Who would it be? Where would you have it? And how would it go?
Oh gosh.
And then I promise we'll stop asking questions.
That's fine. I'm just a big fan of a bacon and egg sandwich, if I'm honest with you, as my breakfast.
I'm so hungry I could eat one
I
right
had
now.
one for my breakfast.
Right. So who's joining you for your bacon and egg sandwich frenzy?
Oh gosh. Probably hero. Is he a hero?
Hero, stroke, crush, stroke. Can be the same thing.
Same thing. David Hurst.
In my head, that was the name it was going to be. It was
David
either going to be
Hurst.
David Hurst or Chris Waddle.
Well, I was toying between the two. Yeah.
Well, Chris Waddle is the more famous.
Yeah. David Hurst is the.
David Hurst played for England.
He did.
Not as many times, but
No.
he
He
could.
broke his leg. That's why.
Yeah, 30, 35 years. 40 years ago, maybe. Or was it 80s, 90s, David Hurst?
90s.
Yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, so
He scored
when
in
you're
the 93.
you're at that impressionable age where you see a muscular pair of footballers' thighs from your home team for the first time, and
I mean, yeah.
your body's changing, and yeah,
I,
it's that sort of vibe, yeah.
I've always gone to football for football.
Well, not this, not with David Hurst. It doesn't seem.
Well, no, he was the hero for his.
Oh, okay, all
footballing.
right, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
The person that's no longer with us.
Oh, probably my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
It's a crush.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah, we'll do.
we'll call David Hurst your hero.
He's definitely not my crush.
Okay.
I don't know why you're nodding at me. Could be a bit awkward.
And the crush.
Oh God.
See, if it was me, it'd be Pamela Anderson. I think she's just magnificent.
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Brad, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's a boy, Brad. He, turns up in your part of the world for Wimbledon.
Yes. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Then again, he's playing the games, getting photographed on centre court, blah, blah, blah. But he seems solid enough. Yeah,
You
okay.
can come for breakfast.
All right. Anna, thank you. Thank you for your
Pleasure.
time. Thank you for your coming.
Yeah.
And thank you for being so open and so honest about what I know, what we both know, is not always easy to talk about. All
No
right.
problem at all.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Cheers, Anna.
Thank you.
Caelan, we're done. Right. Change your top.
It's really hot, isn't it? That's why I kept pushing my sleeves up.
Yeah, that's why I actually brought a towel, and I'm the only one sweaty, but then I got over the sweats first.
It's all right. I'll see you soon. Friday.
Yes, I've got you.
Anna, you are staying for Aiden's interview, right?
No, she's bouncing.
I'm gonna go. I need to.
How are you getting back? Oh, you brought two cars.
And
Oh, right. Okay.
Anna came from her. I was going to be sending yours last night.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I
Oh,
assumed.
no,
so
no, no, no,
so
it's
you're not
fine.
coming for a drink or a beer afterwards?
No, I've
or-
got to get back. But thank you. I need to get back to working.
From what I know of you, that's the first time you've ever had a drink.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Four
and
bottles of wine with Jen
thank you for
last
doing
night.
it.
Yeah, that's probably it. Right, my love. I'll see you soon.
As yet unknown.
This would be impressive considering I didn't buy a ticket.
And I've got a towel here if you want to wind down.
No, I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I'm good.
Wind down with your sweaty towel. God.
No, it's dried out.
Yeah. No,
Oh, no winning. That's a shame. Right then, I will.
I don't do that. It doesn't seem to be staying in. Right.
See you soon.
You're going to need to know how to get
Oh
out.
yeah, how do I get out of the car park?
Okay. Let's get you into the car park first. You just have to drive up to it.
Okay.
But let me get you into the car
Oh yeah, that's it.
Do you?
Well, we've got till 4, Caleb. Can
Yep.
we have an extra 5 minutes if we
Yeah,
need it?
yeah,
okay,
it's fine,
okay. All right. We'll take 30 minutes. Thanks for helping her. I didn't actually realise there were 2 cars. I assumed you were all in the same car. So.
Cool. So let me just
set up?
wait.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'll go and just.
Chill for 5. Right, no. See you later, girl.
Right. Well, thanks for making a huge effort. Style.
That's Aiden dressed up.
Yeah.
I was trying to think the last time I actually wore a suit. I've been gone from work for over 10.5 years. I think I've worn a suit once, and that was because
Funerals and weddings, right?
no, it actually was a job interview that I decided I didn't want halfway through the interview,
Nice.
and
Makes
that's the
it
last time I wore a
easier
suit,
then.
and that's about 9 years ago. Oh yeah, it does. No, it really does. It really does. So, how do you think Anna came over?
Very well. Yeah.
She's a cool girl.
Yeah, I like Anna.
I must admit, because I'd seen you, so I knew kind of what to expect physically, if you like, and I just had this image in my head, this beastie, muscular. Because I actually watched some Australian female rugby league this
Sorry,
morning.
I just need you to just sit down as you would
Oh,
in a normal
no.
conversation. Just want to make sure that you are properly framed, which so far you look like you are.
Strike a pose, mate.
Killer.
You're sitting like that, you're not going in.
Do you want me to?
No, I can.
I don't know, mate. I can lean in.
Yeah. No, sit down as you would.
What's one meant to do?
Just like that. That was perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, Callum. So I don't need to do the.
No.
That can be added on at the start.
Yes,
Yeah.
could be added at the start, or you could do it again as a double take at the end of this podcast. You could just say it again.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll leave that with me.
Or the editor to
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, just edit the first one. But
everything looks good.
Adidas is my favourite designer. Adi Dassler.
Yeah, indeed. Check your history, though.
Well, the Germans in that period didn't all do well.
Callum, what's happening? You're going to let Anna in and out,
Yes.
and then come back to her. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
So everybody looks good. Can you just say the podcast is the best?
The
Podcast
Podcast
is the
is the
best.
best.
Perfect. Everything is good. I'm going to hit record now for you, so that you can carry on without me having to be present.
Oh, you can do the 2 things at the same time. Let her in and out. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah.
So roadcaster recording, ATEM recording, clap sound check. Good. I will leave.
Not sure we were all meant to start clapping.
Oh, no, we won't. Right, count to 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another edition of. Start again. Welcome to another edition of Breakfast the Debrief. Aidan Bell, thank you very, very much for coming today.
That should be Dr. Aiden Bell.
Thank you very much for having me.
Dr. Aidan Bell.
Aiden's particularly fine.
I refer to you as Aidan. I refer
Yeah,
to
yeah.
you as Dr. Aidan.
Aiden is better.
Dr. Bell.
Dr. Bell is if you insist. Dr. Bell's for the court appearances. Aiden is fine.
Who's your mate?
I have known Andrew Cook, who I call Spoon, for 24-ish years.
Something along those
25,
lines.
26 years.
You met at Nottingham University?
That's correct, yeah. In our freshers, first couple of weeks we'd have met each other, stayed in the same halls. I think, and then...
Well, his word for it was housemates, which is slightly different to living in a hall.
By our third year we were housemates, but when we met we were hallmates.
Okay.
So we can
And
both be right.
you've been good friends ever since?
Yeah, like genuinely one of my best friends.
All right, okay. Because looking at the précis of you, I'm staggered. I'm absolutely staggered. What on earth have the two of you got in common?
I mean, life experiences, right? It's just the friendships you build over time. And what we have in common now is we're just decent people who like a laugh.
But also, just because you like different things and have different views doesn't mean that you can't be friends.
No.
It just means that you have different opinions and you accept them for who they are.
Yes, then you get people that, to an outsider, are so different, so different. Yes, opposites attract. Yes, one person's ways can complement another person's absolutely completely different ways. But I'm searching for answers here. I hope the next half hour or so we can
We're both.
start putting bits of the jigsaw together, because I can't work this one out at all.
I mean, we're both straight, middle class, white, cis men. Oh, that's your first bits.
Right. Okay.
I never understand what cis is. I always
No, I mean,
well, I know what it is, but what it stands for, I can't remember.
me neither. I mean, as long as you don't self-identify as a woman, which, you know, as a man with a penis, 2 testicles, on approximately a week's stubble, you know, you don't look much, and an Adam's apple. You don't look much like a woman to me, or anyone's about to declare themselves.
I mean, that's why I went with cis.
Okay. Now, you met Nottingham University, 97 to 2000?
98 to 2001.
98 to 2001. So that puts the pair of you, if my maths is correct,
I'm
44?
Auditioning for 34.
No, too late. Too late. You had the proper go at that 10
That's
years
just the
ago.
girlfriend, isn't it? Have I done Sarah a service?
Now, Aidan, I can't, Dr. Bell, I should Dr. Bell you for this one.
Please aid me.
Yeah. Looking at your LinkedIn, which I would never normally do,
Okay.
but I thought, no, this man's got an IQ of, well, several thousand.
101.
100, yeah, yeah, multiplied by another 101, multiplied by another 101. Now, the quote I'm looking at, I have read it about 50 times. I haven't got a clue. I see, now these are, I quote you directly, I see anthropogenic climate change as a large, genuine threat to people's way of life.
Yes.
First question is what does a big word mean?
Human caused. So anthropogenic just means human caused.
So why didn't you say that so that people could actually understand it? Or was this an intellectual
I mean, anthropogenic is the word.
affectation, or
it's just
the way you are?
Use.
Yeah.
Like, I don't try and use fancy words.
Yeah.
I like to use the right word where possible.
Yeah.
I think I'm quite exact in my language.
No, you see, a medical doctor, if they use a long that I can understand. It's in context, and then it can be broken down from there. On a LinkedIn page, words like anthropogenic, where I would humbly suggest to you that 97-98% of anyone, I'm not on LinkedIn, but of those that are thinking, right, okay.
I guess I hadn't really thought about it in terms of. Firstly, I hadn't remembered that was still up there.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
don't mean this to be rude. What I mean this to be is, I think you're on a different level intellectually.
no, I think I'm just fancy. I just
Certainly
show
to,
off.
There's a little bit of show off. Definitely.
I-
But let's park that to one side.
okay,
He doesn't want
anthropogenic.
to.
No, right.
Yes,
Obviously,
I have
you're-
follow-up questions.
Well,
Please,
that's fine.
bring them.
As you've got there, the other key part of that was the climate change part,
Yeah.
and that is part of what your company is involved in.
Yeah, I mean, when was it? Last 15 years or so, I've been trying to pursue something to do with, like, I came through science, and I've been trying to pursue something to do with mitigating climate change. I just want to leave the world in a better place. It's actually what it boils down to.
Yeah, and your degree was
Chemistry.
chemistry. So we have mechanical engineering
Yeah.
and chemistry.
Yep.
They're not related.
Sure. They're both STEM.
Yeah, you can imagine professional situations where the two can be part of the same project.
Yeah, coming to
but they're very, very different.
For sure.
Okay. Now, let's park the word anthropogenic to one side for the one moment. How many doctorates have you got?
I just have one PhD.
Because I'm looking at notes here that say you've got a doctorate in chemistry, a postgraduate Manchester University,
Yeah, that's true.
and you've got a doctorate
No,
from Dortmund.
no, you did
So
postgrad stuff.
I did a postdoc. So I did postdoctoral research in Bielefeld which is a university. You're not about an hour east of Dortmund.
Oh, I see. So it's actually attached to the first body of work. It's not a different doctorate.
Correct.
So you're not Dr. Aidan.
No, I am not.
You're not Dr. Bell.
I am not.
You're Dr. Bell.
Just a single
Okay,
doctor.
right. Thank you. Yes.
And that will do for now, I think.
Yes.
What's the collective noun for doctors?
An annoyance.
An expensive bill. An NHS of doctors.
Now, again, this has to be tackled early in the conversation.
Okay.
You sit before us, self-confident,
Potentially.
intelligent as you like, but you have made some seriously bad life choices.
Are we going to talk through them?
Yes, please. Only if you're comfortable.
What are my bad life choices in particular?
Well, marrying a Malaysian girl half your age.
Well, we're engaged, and she's half my age plus 7. Like, I think I tick that.
So you're engaged now.
Yeah. We get married in April.
Again, I need to sack my researcher
What?
because it essentially came over to me that you were married, but that's the impression I
We are
got.
to
I
be married.
apologise.
No. I mean,
I apologise.
it's a beautiful day yet to come.
Before you
Okay.
go back and check the text,
And
I'm just
and
going to blame
also,
autocorrect.
Also, I'm not definitely sure that everyone would see marrying Sarah as a terrible life choice.
That wasn't the
No,
live
that's
choice.
before.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
No, that's before. The version of it that I understood was that you have been, it's ended, and it was a mistake, and that was the bad life choice. Not it's an ongoing situation, as I've just found out,
think
and
we
you are
might-
to be congratulated on what I hope will be the happiest relationship of your life.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Thanks, Cricky.
So I think we've
You're
probably got
sacked.
some each shoots and leaves situation going on here.
Okay, no, I am engaged to be married to Sarah.
Well, then,
And
congratulations.
to confirm, Sarah, this isn't some insider knowledge that Spoon
Sarah,
has.
Sarah, if you're watching this, I'm sacking my colleague. He gave me, well, he intimated the wrong conversation, and please forgive me. And if I ever meet you, it's my round.
Okay. That's
Okay.
good.
Right, let's get on to something that I think isn't completely wrong. You've recently become teetotal.
I have significantly cut down my drinking.
How bad was it, and how much was it to do with the life you've led? You were leading. Was it choice? Was it professional pressures?
It was actually the reason I first started drinking, same as probably a lot of you in your teens, probably earlier in your teens than you meant to, was first because it's like cool and it's fun. And then actually the reason I drank was pretty much to do with confidence. Like you go out and if you're trying to chirp some women, like I'd need a few beers. And after about 10 beers, I'd go and try and talk to them and fail and go home with a kebab, like fairly usual teenage 20 stuff. And actually I got to a point where by and large, I don't need the bits that alcohol gives me.
What, the false confidence almost, or
I don't need it.
the social assertion, if you like.
Like
Yeah.
I'm confident enough now that I don't need that bit of alcohol. So to say teetotal, the reason I say I'm not teetotal is because last weekend I drank about 3 bottles of wine on a marathon. So that was definitely not teetotal. But I have significantly cut down my drinking. There was no doctor advice. There was no health advice. I just decided I didn't really need it.
Because you stopped you didn't touch anything for about a year and a bit.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I basically stopped, like almost completely stopped. And then I have a couple of beers now and again. If I go out with mates and they're on a sesh, I'll have a couple of beers and I'll have a couple of Guinness Zeros and I'll have an Erdinger Zero. But I just don't need the high that I get from alcohol. So I'm like, what's the point?
But you haven't become a complete teetotaler.
No, because the nagging thing is still to fit in. Like the awkward bit is the look you get in the group of people with whom I hang out, most of whom I've built up as friendships over the years, over alcohol. And that's the truth of how I grew up, that you grow it through beer, or more cider in my case. And actually, so sometimes you go out with a mate and they would feel uncomfortable if you're not having a beer. So you have a beer or two.
Well, especially if somebody who, ostensibly you get on with
Yeah.
and you enjoy their company,
Yeah.
but they start using words like I promise you this is the last time I'll mention this, but they can use words like anthropogenic, understand it, relate their own lives to it, and the person they're with in a social situation is like, yeah, all right.
I would infer that the vast majority of my friends would know what I meant if I talked about anthropogenic.
It's a backhanded compliment.
Okay.
You're a very, very, very intelligent guy.
Thank you very much.
You've left a very clear impression. One thing I admire, and I really do admire, is the entrepreneurial spirit.
Okay.
And it does interest me that not only your current company, but a previous company, you were the joint owner.
Yeah.
You were the joint entrepreneur. You were sharing the load, if you the intellectual load, the business load, everything that goes with it. But you shared it. Now, somebody that has, social issues, shall we say, well, it wouldn't be like that. Would it necessarily be? And I'm assuming the two companies that you've been joint owner, joint founder of are with two different people or with the
That's
same person?
correct, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Please tell me about them.
So the first guy, first company called Evo Energy, is a guy called Kevin Hard, who actually lived with Spoon and I at university. So there's three of us in the house.
Spoon
Spoon being Andrew Cook.
Yeah, Bath rugby
Bath rugby
fanatic.
Yeah.
Andrew Crook on my left.
Yeah, all round great guy.
Yeah.
So it was a friend from university who was around my best friend, to be fair, like good friend to a lot of people, but he was one of the best ones. I was at Deloitte. He had an idea. The reason I always have co-founders, I think primarily is because I don't have any ideas. So in both instances, it's been the idea of somebody else who's then sort of rung me up or texted me and be like, "Do we have a crack at this?"
Well, like a Dragon's Den sort of thing, where you get somebody like Theo Papetis, for example, who openly admits he's never had an idea in his life, but that a lot of the people that have had the ideas are clueless about how to turn it into a business, a success, to monetize it, whichever way you want to put it. And he fed off their ideas, never having had an idea ever.
Yeah.
Is it that sort of thing?
I am bereft of ideas. I'm not a blue sky thinker, I wouldn't say. I can drive operational chains and I can put together, I can get to A to Z very quickly. One of my old mentors always used to say, it's like, Kev will come up with what Z looks like and you'll be like, and you won't go through the alphabet, you just go like A, J, S, B, Z, and you'll skip shit.
So you've always looked to complement.
Wow, I mean, it just seemed fun.
Or you have found yourself complimenting others.
Yeah.
So what you're actually sitting opposite us and saying is both companies, your present company, co-founded by you, and the previous company essentially could have happened had you not been involved because it was others' ideas, and neither would have happened had it just been you.
That's entirely true.
Okay.
I am like a parasite of ideas.
Interesting. Well, see, that brings, again, I'm avoiding the eyes of my researcher because if this is wrong, I truly am left with nowhere to go except, blagging it. You say you don't have any original ideas, but you made the news a few years ago for naming an Amazonian
It's an
oxyclid, which is a newt, after Donald Trump.
Yeah, Sicilian, cute little. I think it's in the rainforest, cloud forest of Ecuador. Lives like a meter underground primarily.
There was lots of Americans who weren't very happy with it.
Yeah, so we named that with.
Forgive,
that was my idea. To be fair, that was actually my idea.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This was your idea.
Yeah, this was my idea.
So this isn't something.
No.
What we've touched on with your joint founders isn't something that applies here. Now, I never saw the newt, but apparently within those circles,
it reached a level of mainstream. It was when we're looking to do it. So as a company, that Envirobuild, the one I'm currently at, we always try not always try. We always donate 10% of our profits to a company called Rainforest Trust, which is a charity, and they were running an auction of sort of auctioning off the right to name particular species, and we came across the idea with. It wasn't just me; it was a group idea, but I'll claim good credit for it. Of naming one of these creatures after a politician, and I think we started on Edward Rees-Mogg, and then realised that
Jacob Rees-Mogg.
yeah, that one.
Him.
Yeah, I'm not. So I'm
Ed
not
to his friends.
Yeah, not good at Tories.
Jacob to his friends.
So Jacob Rees-Mogg, and then we realised that actually, like, whilst I would love to pillar him and mock him for the caricature he is, far too many of our customers are actually conservatives, and what we didn't want to do is alienate our own customer
I'm
base.
sorry, far too many of your customers are conservatives.
For it to have been a good idea.
Ah, okay.
So, I mean, so you don't want to alienate your customer base just because of your own personal politics, right? That's just terrible business.
Yes, because another direct quotation from you is you have never let your politics get in the way of a profit. Little bit of a conflict here?
Well, no, I mean, not really. My group of friends will, as a rule, be sort of right of centre, particularly this group. And I am.
Well, the gentleman to my left, he's certainly right to the centre of you. Again, if
but no, that's not. But they essentially almost see him as a freaking communist, without recognising that I'm as much of a capitalist as the rest of them. I'm just like what I would regard as a responsible capitalist or something of that ilk. And you need to be able to make profit in a business. If you just try to go for your ideals, you can have both, but you need to be able to make a profit.
have you ever considered a career in the civil service where you wouldn't need to do that? Found yourself intellectually stimulated, and whilst I'm not saying you could be Sir Humphrey, you could, the way I'm thinking, be Sir Humphrey's protege.
I would have, if you could do your life a few times, like if it's a computer game, you can go back and save them.
Fair comment. Yeah.
Then there are lots of careers that I'd have liked to go into. And the problem is, like, the problem I've always had is the opportunity of, like, it's just the opportunity to do lots of different things. And so you kind of flit. So I would have loved to be an MP. I'd have loved to be a civil servant. I'd have loved to be an astronaut. I'd have liked, there's lots of things I'd have liked to do. But you kind of get stuck. And stuck's the wrong phrase, but you end up specialised in something. And then it's really hard to go and say, oh, I want to be in this. But there was a period after I'd sold Evo Energy where I was considering trying to be an MP, and I went around and talked to various MPs and how they got on
And
stuff.
you would have represented which party?
Labour,
Okay. And you still feel that way?
100%.
Because to me, I'll throw something different at you. To me, the last funny thing on the BBC was Little Britain, which was, 15 to 20 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
And it was the last funny that could never get made now.
I mean, I didn't find
The
it funny
people-
then.
No.
Oh, I did. I found it hilarious. One of the characters in it was Vicky Pollard. Yeah, but no, but yeah, but. And all of a sudden, here we are. You're saying you would represent the Labour Party,
100%.
and we find ourselves with Vicky Pollard as Deputy Prime Minister of this country, along the lines of yeah, but no, but Tory scum, but yeah, but no, but.
I mean,
I had no idea where you were going with
I
that.
would far rather have Angela Rayner represented us on the international stage than Bojo, because I thought he was a clown and embarrassment. To
Yes,
the
you
entire
know,
country.
I 100% agree. And one of the reasons is you and I might fall out properly is one of the reasons, okay, Boris Johnson, the thrill was in the chase. You know, the thrill was getting elected, not actually doing anything with it once he had it. But because his brains, in my opinion, his brains have always been in his pants.
Yeah.
And he got captured by his present wife and mother of his last 2, 3, however many
Captured is a
children.
Wonderful
Oh,
phrase.
But she's turned him on to, like, you know, things like net zero. And had he still been in power, that was his thing. So some of the problems that we're almost certainly going to have and are beginning to have as the costs become clear and can't be hidden anymore, unravelling bit by bit, would have been brought in by Bojo anyway.
I completely refute that.
Well,
I don't for a moment believe Bojo would have pushed a net zero agenda.
Well, he would.
I mean, he had an. Well, you say
he would. His brains were in his pants.
He literally had an opportunity when he was in power to do it, and he didn't. So why do you think after power that suddenly he would have rewritten it?
No, because too many of his party were against it.
No, but even had he been in power now, this party would still have been against it. Like the idea that you think Bojo would have pushed a net zero agenda in the Conservative Party strikes me as facile.
No, it's not facile. Those are his held opinions that he was never going to get it through in the party he was in.
Switch of the wind.
Yeah.
He was pro-EU and he was writing for it, and he switches to anti-EU because he thought it would get in. He's like a Trump. He would like a Democrat to Republican. Bojo is not a man of principle.
No, he's a narcissist. Trump is the ultimate narcissist. You think America, a country, whatever it is, 400 million people, whatever, and the best they can come up with. Now, as we sit here recording this, November election is 7-8 weeks away.
Yeah.
Something like that, 7 or 8 weeks away, and we have a choice between a 78-year-old narcissist, albeit one who, in his period of office, 2017 to 2021, no wars started. The art of the deal, which I do admire, whilst recognising he is divisive. Anyway, we have a choice between the 78-year-old version of that and a woman who has ridden the diversity, equity, inclusion, over-promoted at every single level, and began it by sleeping with a Californian senator.
I mean, I think...
That strikes you as a choice?
I can't believe the way that you've portrayed Kamala Harris in that instance. I think that's...
What, you actually think she has a brain?
Yeah. Like, I genuinely don't know what you're reading to get to the opinions that Kamala Harris is over-promoted and on a fucking diversity ticket. I regard that as rude and offensive.
Right, okay.
I don't know enough about what's going on in the US.
Like, she's vice president of the United States. She's like, what is it?
And how many of her own party voted for in the 2020 Democratic nominations? What percentage?
Yeah, but like Trump's had to flow out the entire...
No, we're not talking about Trump. We're talking about Kamala Harris. What percentage?
I have no idea.
I think it was between 1 and 1.5%.
But why does that mean she's over-promoted? Why are you jumping those?
Because Biden was told that he had to have a woman of colour as his vice president. He was told by the people that actually do make the decisions. Okay. Because who actually is running America? Well, nobody knows.
The hand up the puppet.
Yeah, it's not Biden. I mean, he can barely remember where he was half an hour ago. He certainly can't remember where the toilet is. Now,
it looks like you're looking for conspiracies.
No, I don't think I am looking for a conspiracy. It just strikes me as being sad that rather than sit here falling out with you, it's sad for the American people to have a choice. Because essentially, Trump could only beat one Democrat, which was Biden, in the state he's in, you know, the mentally fragile version that we have today. And the only Republican Harris can beat, who nobody in the party wanted. She was given a job as what the borders are. That was her big job, and she never even bothered to go. And by the way, 15 million people, is it? Whatever it is, it makes our problems with illegal immigration look. And she's, all of a sudden, you know, she has Taylor Swift's vote, so she'll get in. But
I mean, Taylor Swift's demographic overlie with Kamala Harris is so completely that they don't actually think it's going to make a huge difference, her endorsement.
Well, Oprah apparently swung it for Obama. She brought in apparently 1 million in key swing states.
Obama won it by a mile. Like, Obama trounced McCain.
No, the other time, was it the second time, the first time, the second time?
I mean, I think Obama was a magnificent president.
Really?
Yeah.
So yes, we can. Well, yes, we can. What?
Well, you need a short phrase because most people don't pay much attention to politics. So
no,
that's just good.
No,
marketing.
I know that, but yes, we can.
Yes, we can. It gives you hope.
Well, it's like 4 more years. It's meaningless.
Well,
so it's "Make America Great Again."
Like, but the point is, it's a slogan. It's a slogan that gives hope, and it gives hope to the disenfranchised. Like, I remember staying up at night watching John McCain's when he lost the election. I was up in Maxwood in the hotel every night, and I staying up, and his concession speech was a beautiful thing. And John McCain was a great, like, honestly...
John McCain was a genuine war hero. John McCain was tortured
Yeah, he was like, but his concession speech was beautiful. But what he recognised within that speech was the hope that Obama had given to so many people who'd felt as if they'd fallen through the cracks of a divided America, and that was what he realised had picked Obama up and placed him there. And you could see almost the admiration in McCain's
Yes,
eyes.
and Obama was the first.
No, I don't understand why you're then going to denigrate people like that, or to push against them when even their opponents recognise the absolute quality that it brought to it. Like, I'm not always sure what you're holding on to.
What I'm holding on to, I'm not holding on to anything. To me, it was 8 years of smoke screens. He hated this country. Hated's the wrong word. He did nothing for this country. Trump, for all his faults, is an Anglophobe.
So you're annoyed at Barack Obama for doing nothing for the UK? Why the frick would he have to do anything for the UK?
Special relationship?
That we want. Like, why would America necessarily have to concentrate on an island off the northwest coast of Europe when it should be dealing with its bigger issues are your Chinas, your Japans, your Germanys? Like,
yes, I absolutely agree.
But why would you throw that as why would you throw shade on Obama for looking after America's interests? That makes no sense to me.
Why would I throw shade? Because I don't particularly think he did a very good job.
Okay. But most people think he did.
I mean, ask anyone in Afghanistan. Well, unless you're like a Taliban leader, you know what democratic politicians have done. I mean, the women are all in.
I mean, what was he meant to have done on that? That's a war that started in 2003. When did Afghanistan kick off?
About a year after 9/11, which is 2001.
So probably 2003-ish. When Obama came in 2008-9, what's he meant to be doing with that? He's in a war zone. Like, that's like blaming Kennedy for Vietnam. Like, you're in a situation.
Blaming Kennedy wasn't in Vietnam. Kennedy wasn't in Vietnam.
Actually, no, Kennedy started Vietnam.
No, let me get this right. Kennedy
that's
didn't get
argument.
America out of Vietnam. He got them into it.
No, they started in the late 50s.
What?
The Vietnam crisis started in the breakdown of the French in the late 50s.
Right. Okay. Well,
I'm not going to get
right. Let's move on. So your attitude. Let me just give you a checklist. Cyclists.
I love cycling.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I don't mean enjoying the exercise, being a cyclist, whatever. What I actually mean is the arrogant, entitled attitude of like men my age, your age, dressed in lycra, hogging the roads, going through speed cam, whatever, and just being the way they are, their sense of entitlement.
I mean, it sounds as though your entitlement sits there as a car driver annoyed by cyclists.
Well, they pay tax?
Everyone pays tax.
Not on the road, they don't.
Tax goes into one big pot.
Well, it doesn't, does it?
I mean, it does.
No,
that's exactly how
well,
tax works.
No, it actually doesn't.
You have a balanced budget. You don't go, road tax is only spent on the road.
No.
You don't go, cigarette tax is only spent on the NHS. You don't go, national insurance is only spent on pensions.
Right, let's move on to a happier part of this conversation. Astronauts. Elon Musk, your view on Elon Musk. And I ask this because, again, at the time of recording, the first commercial SpaceX orbiting of the Earth with a spacewalk done by a private a billionaire that can afford it, and his, and his lady friend. I mean, that is incredible. Not least because the part of you that makes things, designs things, looks at things differently. I mean, my God, what is going on with the SpaceX spacesuits? It just looked like, we're all so used to the Apollo, clunk, clink. And this thing looked like you could put it on as like a onesie. Now, that's technology I can get behind. That's private enterprise, I think, the way it should be used. Although the same Elon Musk has come out and said there's no way the amount of forms you have to fill in today's America, we can never get to Mars. Just can't get this. There's too many forms to fill in, but that's a different thing. But your view on Elon Musk? I
mean, I think he's an interesting character. I don't think he would have no view of me. Like, he's done incredibly well for himself. He comes across as a bit of an entitled wanker. And he comes across like the way he treated that the diver, the whole submarine.
Yes,
thing
no,
in Thailand.
yes, over in the Far
Thailand.
East. Yeah.
That like
Yeah,
the
no,
way he went after the bloke and called him a paedophile and then trounced him through it and wouldn't even back down
No,
on it.
and then-
I
and
think
then
that
do- and-
speaks to his character.
And then doubled down on a very bad joke, and
Yeah.
only then. However, in his defence, Elon Musk is very, very high functioning autistic, and that's, I would say, a part of his personality that didn't really have an off switch. Yes, I know the point you're meaning, and I agree with it, but the part of him, the part of his brain that has just led him to just incredible things.
I have
from PayPal to all the way through to SpaceX.
I have no.
Through Tesla.
I don't have insight into whether he has autism or not. I don't know if that's in the
No,
public
it's
realm.
very high functioning autism. Yeah.
Is that actually true, or is it just
Yes, no, it's
what
true.
people say?
It's true. It's true.
Okay.
It's true of Elon Musk. It's true of Mark Zuckerberg. It's certainly true of Bill Gates. Now, these are people that have changed the world, possibly because, like, with Andy and I, we've had this chat many, many times, that if we came up with something and we made £5 million, £10 million, $20 million, whatever, great. That's enough. These people, because of the high functioning level, the autism kicking in, if you like, it's irrelevant. Steve Jobs, very high functioning.
Refused to get care and died of cancer because he thought he knew better than the doctors.
Well, there we are. Well, and read to today, Al McPherson. Yeah, well, indeed. But these guys that have changed the world, and any lady equivalent.
That's because they're looking at the world through a different set of eyes and a different way of
It's
mental wiring.
Indeed, they are.
They've gone on and done things that are incredible in their, like, wherever they be, and they have changed the world. I don't know if I necessarily go down the sort of the dominant man theory of history or whether it's very much like you get kind of the technology would always come to pass by somebody. Like, I'm not really sure. Like Apple, amazing company, but somebody else would have come up with a touchscreen at some point. So, like, how innovative is it really? I don't know. But the Starlink stuff, amazing. Like, happening the stuff around Ukraine. I haven't seen the spacewalk. Like, I haven't seen their spacesuits. But Elon Musk, not really my kind of guy.
Okay, Greta Thunberg.
Well, she's another. I believe she is diagnosed, isn't it, as neurodivergent. She's certainly going out for what she believes in.
Right, that's a polite way of saying her heart's in the right place, but
No, I think
it's this nonsense has to stop.
I
Of world
disagree.
leaders, don't get me wrong. If her heart's in the right place, her heart's in the right place. However, world leaders, trying to piggy bank on the back of it. I really don't get it.
I mean, you want to cover a wide spectrum of people. She was at a time very famous. She sort of dropped off a little bit now when it comes around. Was it when COP was in Glasgow that she was sort of rising through the prominence of the UK ranks? It's not unusual for a politician to sort of hop on the bandwagon. They'll endorse Taylor Swift. I remember Blair playing head tennis with Kevin Keegan. It's like you jump on popularity.
That's fair enough.
Look at the Euros just gone by. All the politicians jumping on board.
Absolutely. Aidan, Dr. Bell,
Aidan.
let's lump this lot.
Sure.
Because I sense this is the last conflict. If we're going to have conflict,
This isn't conflict by my standards.
No, no, but it could easily get that way. Right, I'll say this quickly because I believe I'm reading this. Just Stop Oil, Extinction Rebellion, and Be Kind, Inclusive, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. Now, the floor is yours.
I mean, so I don't know who the last one is.
DEI, diversity,
I actually
equity,
don't know
inclusion.
I actually don't know who that is. But in terms of Just Stop Oil,
Well, I'll warm you up by saying that in my investment portfolio, which is very dear to me, I was thinking long, deep and hard about what is going on in this world. Our clapped out first past the post system in this country that allows 20% of
There's something
voters.
you can agree on.
20% of voters to decide how, 100% of us live their lives. Now, this actually benefits the party you have said in conversation with us today that you would stand for. And whilst I respect that, what I can't respect is a system that's broken. It's been broken. Do you know when the last government was formed in this country with over 50% of those entitled to vote?
Honestly, it's probably back in.
Yeah, no,
it's like Bevan's day, probably.
Yeah, that's not a bad. It actually, as I understand it, it was the Labour 1945.
Oh, okay, it wasn't.
Straight after the war, when Churchill's. Sorry, forgive me, not Ramsay MacDonald. The Labour guy that came in, took over from Churchill. Oh, goodness me.
Attlee?
Yes, Clement Attlee. Yes, Clement Attlee. Oh, right. Okay, Aidan, the clock's beaten us. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I get away with one last question. Somebody no longer with us, a crush, a hero of yours, all sat around the breakfast table. Who is it? And then I promise we're done.
Someone who's no longer with us. I've been very lucky in my life to have never lost anyone close to me. So it'd have to be historic figures. So maybe who would be interesting to talk to? Like a Caesar, if I could speak in English.
An Isaac Newton?
Nah, Julius Caesar. We'll go back there, go more political. That'd be more interesting. A crush.
Really?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to hear how time was back then. Fiance, I'll take as the crush because I'm not a stupid man. And heroes, maybe like an Attenborough.
Okay, David. I was going to say David or Richard.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Aidan, thank you.
Thank you.
The clock's beaten us. I sense this could, if it were a 6-part series all by itself, still not be long enough. But thank you very, very much for giving your time.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
You're welcome, Smith.
And a final apology for the most important relationship in your life, thinking it was something completely different, and it's not my fault. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Aidan. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Caleb. Thank you.
Well done.
Cheers, guys.
Caleb, how did that come over from where you're?
I'm not listening to it.
I'm not listening to a single word.
I won't listen to everything.
No, okay.
I'm simply monitoring it, so that means I'm making sure all the levels are fine, everything like that. But listening in, I can only tell you from based on audio perspective, really. That's really what I'm listening to.
Sound level's good. Conversation's terrible.
Yeah.
Because of the 3 personalities. Hopefully it was always going to be 4, but okay, one we couldn't do anything about. Was just to get a completely different